All right, here we go. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is We Love Comics. Happy Thursday. Hopefully, everybody is enjoying their mid-afternoon, or I guess evening or morning, depending on when you watch this video. I got the dreaded thinnest envelope ever for the quote-unquote protection of a Silver Age, pretty much key. Well, it is a key first appearance, and guess we'll find out the insides of this because it's ugh, you gotta love people sometimes. I love the fact that I always ask the sellers, please make sure you protect the comic and put it in a box. And like I say, I recommend that because most people actually do listen, but every now and then you're going to get the person that I guess basically just doesn't care. And I'm sure many of you can share horror stories of packages, if you want to quote unquote call them packages, where somebody mailed your comics. So leave your horror stories in the live chat if you're watching it live, or in the comment section once this video uploads. We got a new paid Patreon member, and just so you know, I am doing my live comic book auction, all graded books, all key issues, on August the 3rd, which is a Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The sneak peek video will be coming out this coming Sunday, mid-afternoon, so stay tuned for that. But if you join my Patreon at patreon.com/WeLoveComics and become a paid member, no matter what amount you contribute, all paid members have early access to my auctions before even the sneak peek video. So I give an extra early week access. So basically 2 weeks before an auction, if you are one of my paid Patreon members, you can email me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and request a list. And I'll give you the list of all of the books that will be coming up in a auction. And you can make an offer on any of them before anybody else sees them. So again, there is no minimum to join the paid Patreon other than the minimum to join anybody's, which is $2 a month. But if you do more, there is a contest I'm doing once I get to 20 paid members. So you'll get your name up on this list, and you'll also be able to have early access to my auction so you can prevent any book from ever reaching the auction, even the sneak peek viewers. So one of my subscribers, I'm not going to say who it is in case they do a live unboxing. One of my paid Patreon members took advantage of this, and my Hulk 181, graded a 5.0, has already been sold. So it does pay to join my Patreon to take advantage of getting early access to being able to place a offer on one of the comics for sale before anybody else gets the chance. This will keep you from missing the auction or having to see yourself be outbid during an auction or pay more because you were in a bidding war with somebody else. So again, patreon.com/we love comics. So shout out to Sith Lord, Michael B, Kevin W, Dan L, Herbert R, Annabelle N, Jason B, Kim N, Blessed, Joey S, our newest member. At YouTube, check out Kendall Kid Comics. On Instagram, check out at ScottWU077. On Facebook, check out Stephen L. Turk Author. And then last but not least, check out, supposed to be on Instagram, but it's at Silver Age Surfer _comics. I'm going to have to fix that. I just noticed it. So, with that being said, you could pause this. 20 paid members in any given month. I start doing a raffle. Again, no minimum to enter other than the minimum to join anybody's Patreon, but you'll get one entry for every $2 that you contribute. And like I always say, about 95% of the contributions go to help stray animals that I take care of, but of course, also for the comic videos that you guys love. So, video camera survey says, this is my wonderful protection for a Silver Age key comic. It feels like there is not even a bag and board in there. So this is what this person deemed as protective for this comic. But they were nice enough to put a do not bend sticker, so there's that. So we'll see what happens, but as usual, the good thing about purchasing on eBay is you do get buyer's protection. So if it ends up bent or damaged, I can get my refund. But we'll find out now. All right, they did do an invoice. Now, this one does have a little bit of water damage, not much, but I knew that when I bought it to the point where there is one rusty staple. So this is probably around a 3.0 range, maybe between like 2.5 and 3.5 range. But I'm still happy with it considering this, even in low grade, is going to be not super expensive, but definitely not going to be something you could pick up for 30 bucks. So I'm going to show the book, and then if anybody wants to chime in of what they would have paid for this book, now, I used to have maybe 3 or 4 copies of this. I sold every single copy in my auctions. I actually thought I had one more, but I didn't. But now I have it back. So I always find this book, and I always find some very good deals on it. So welcome, Nitro, and welcome, Phil. Good to see you. Here is the book. So we have Fantastic Four issue number 52, first appearance of the Black Panther. You can tell this is a US version because it has the 12 cents. So you have to be very careful about the price. If it says a pence, that means it's from Europe, especially the UK. But this obviously is the US version. As you can see there, rusty staple. Now, with rusty staples, let's say everything else was perfect in a book. There have been CGC books with one rusted staple as high as 9.2. So just because there is rusted staple does not automatically make it a 2.0, 1.0 comic. Both rusty staples, CGC has put books up to about a 7.5. So you could still get pretty high grades even with rusty staples, again, provided there's nothing really else wrong with a book. But this one does have a slight water damage on the bottom. This will benefit from a pressing and dry cleaning because there is a little bit of a ripple effect, not major amounts, but a pressing's absolutely going to help that. This is, like I said, about a 2.5 to a 3.5. So, as always, I ask people if they want to get used to knowing what a price of a book is instead of just guessing or assuming, so you don't get outbid or you don't miss an opportunity and you definitely don't overpay. I want people to look this up. Look up, like I said, between 2.5 and a 3.5. So look up a 3.0, which this is not out of the realm of possibility because you can see cover and color looks great. But like I said, there is some water damage, but it's not like the whole book is warped or anything. So there is some minor staining on the back because of that. So I am keeping it conservative around the 3.0, which would allow those kind of situations, especially, you're not seeing it all warped and ripped to shreds. So I think realistically, this is about a 3.0. Now, this was a buy it now. So it would be one of those things where you'd have to see a price and say, that's a great deal, so I better steal it before somebody else does. Well, not steal it, you know what I mean, buy it. Or see a price where it looks about fair market value, so you have to think about it and know that it's not a mega deal, so you can assume that it won't be taken right away. Or you could see a price and say, wow, that's way too expensive. I don't want to take the chance, even if it's the first appearance of a major character, even if it's a book I want and never owned and is on my list. You want to make sure you know prices. Now, keep in mind, whatever prices you look up on eBay, let's say you see a price for about 500 for this book. Remember, if you see it at 500, it's 500 plus whatever taxes, which would probably be around the $30 range extra, and shipping and handling. So if you're in the live chat or later on, tell me what would be, if you saw a buy it now for this, what would be the highest price you would see this and say, I want to buy that book? And again, you would have to include shipping and handling and eBay taxes after that. So when you see a buy it now, like I said, if it's 500, buy it now, it would be 500, then adding on the around $30 in eBay taxes, and then if there's any shipping and handling. So if anybody wants to put in the comment section what would be the highest amount you would pay for this Fantastic Four 52 first appearance of the Black Panther at roughly around the 3.0 grade, put it in the live chat, and you could pause the video if you want to. So most people in the live chat don't tend to look things up. A lot of people tend to just take a guess of what they're paying. I'd be very careful about that because if you take a guess and it's, you know, not worth, if, in other words, if it's 500 and you see it for 700, you really shouldn't buy it. And if you see one for $10, it's probably a reprint. So you want to be careful because there are reprints or other versions of this where this is blank. So be very careful. So the price I paid for this book with shipping and handling and with eBay taxes, and luckily not damaged from that wonderful packaging. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is the envelope they put it in. This was the quote unquote protection. I paid a grand total of only $209.19 for this book, including shipping and handling and eBay taxes. So to me, this is a great price for this book because if you even see 2.0s of this book, even 1.8s, they sell for around the $200 range. So, of course, there are no guarantees of a grade if it's ungraded. But if you guys have watched my channel for a while, and a few of you do, you can see I'm usually pretty spot on with my grade range. And that's another thing. If you're looking at a book on eBay, you want to get a general idea of what you think the grade range is going to be for a raw book. So you can make a better decision if the price they're selling it for, or if the auction is going and it's still in within a price range that's reasonable for what you think it'll be a grade for. Knowledge is power. So, do what you want to do, take the chances, roll the dice. You might win every now and then, but I'd rather know I can make a profit than assume or guess or hope. And that's what a lot of people do. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Fantastic Four, number 52, first appearance of the Black Panther. I now re-own this book. Like I said, I sold all of my copies in my auctions. I thought I left myself one, but I did not. But now I got one back, and I always find these at really good deals. This is actually probably one of the more expensive ones I've bought in a while of this book. Because if you saw the last time I bought this comic, somebody had it in a buy it now. It came out to like $69 total. And that book came back like a 3.5. And that was a buy it now. So they're always out there if you take the time to look. So that's it. If you want to critique my AI art, I actually tried to do Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, and I also tried to do Plastic Man from DC Comics. I literally tried 50 times before I gave up of trying to get a super thin character holding a super thin envelope. So after about 50 tries, that's the best one that I could come up with. So you could critique it, you could love it or hate it, or just say it's okay. I understand. Like I said, I don't want to waste so many credits trying to get one thumbnail. It wasn't that major of a deal. But you could critique it either way. You could hit subscribe or unsubscribe. I'll leave that up to you. Thumbs up or thumbs down. And again, if you want to join my Patreon and get your name up here and have early access to all of my auctions, which, like I said before, just in case you're tuning in, my next comic book auction is going to be August 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The sneak peek video is going to be out on Sunday. But if you join and become one of my paid Patreon members, you will get early access to be able to make an offer on any comics that is going to be in the auction before even the people that see the sneak peek video. So there are advantageous things for that. And again, one of my Patreon members has already taken advantage of that and took the Hulk 181 5.0 already off the list. So Mike Oliver's here and says, OMG, boy, to have a bad packaging story. I ordered an eBay an IMAX Superman comic, and it came in the mail, and the seller put it in an eBay envelope, no bag or backing board. My mailman bent it in half in the mailbox. Mike, I feel for you with that one. I've had situations like that before. I think it's almost a rite of passage for a comic book collector that eventually you will get the manila envelope of death. So Mike, I feel for you. The good thing is, I'm sure you got your money back, or at least a partial refund for basically a seller's mistake, because it is their responsibility to make sure whatever you order arrives in the condition it was purchased. So if the person decided to go cheap, and even if the post office is 100% at fault, the seller is still responsible. So hopefully you got your money back. But if you're one of the comic book collectors that has ordered several times in the mail, put your horror stories in the comments section, because trust me when I say we love to hear other stories, not because we are making anybody feel bad, is it makes us feel better because I'm sure we've all had that experience because I've had that, unfortunately, more than once. And I had one where it was a Silver Age Grail and it got damaged and destroyed because of and the negligence of a seller. So that does happen, unfortunately. And Mike, I feel your pain. So thank you for sharing that story with me. And he says, "Yep, got all money back. Comic was ruined. Seller was not a comic fan. Saw Superman. I got the comic free." Well, there you go. So you end up being a happy ending. So even though the comic was damaged, it still is going to have some kind of value, and you got your money back and got to keep the comic. So that ends up being a great story. So in the end, I mean, even a zero point 0.5 of a very valuable book is going to have some money in it, but everybody is going to really not see that as as anything other than a consolation. Because if you had like uh, let's say a 9.0 version of Action Comics #1, and it ended up being a zero point 0.5 because of the damage, you're not going to be thrilled. But then again, if you got your money back and got to keep the comic, even at a zero point 0.5 down from a 9.0, as much as I'd be disappointed I didn't have a high grade book, I'd be super stoked at getting a zero point 0.5 for free. So I've had that happen where somebody damaged it and I either got a partial refund or a complete refund. And sometimes they do let you keep the book. So there are still some nice sellers out there. But that's why I always say make sure you message any seller that you buy from because they may not be a comic fan like us, or they just may not be aware, or they might just not care unless you bring it up. So thank you for sharing that story, and thank you all for watching. And again, my auction's coming August 3rd. Sneak peek for everybody to make offers on any of the comics a week before the auction is on Sunday mid-afternoon. I'll put that live video out. And if you join my Patreon at patreon.com/we love comics, you now have a week before the sneak peek video, which means since this Sunday, you can contact me peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and you can make an offer for any of the books. Just ask for the list and I'll happily mail it to you. So you'll have the advantage of being able to purchase any of the books before the auction or the sneak peek video ever happens. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know in the comment section if you think I got a good deal for this. Would you have paid the price I paid? And share your horror stories of the comics you've got in the mail from wonderful comic book sellers throughout the comic book world. So till then, thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, it is not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. Have a great day, everybody. And our surprise subscriber shout outs, obviously, since there are only 3 people in the live chat, Nitro, Phil, and Mike. All 3 of you are today's surprise subscriber shout outs. So let's give our shout outs a shout out and show the community what we're all about. I'll see you next video. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.